Nasdaq Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange, Oslo Stock Exchange, and a lot more of exchanges are flashing buy signals. And they are very strong. Every time these sort of buy signals have been flashing, markets been going up. And among all signals that we analyze, Nasdaq is down at 8% buy signals. The lowest I ever seen this was 7, and I put all the money I had into the market and went for one of the strongest upturn I ever had in my trading career. Will I do it this time? Well, you have to stay stuck because I will tell you in just a bit. And you are listening to the StockInvest.us podcast, Trading Tips with Jim, as we're heading into week 12, I believe. Last week was not the best week for Nasdaq. Nasdaq down 3.45%. What about the 8 buy signals that I gave you? The 8 stocks with buy signals, how did they do? I started this 3 weeks ago and every week been tuning the systems to see if we can get it better, and it got better. But also this will have to wait a little bit. We will get to it shortly. Back to the markets, well, even though Jones had a bad week, falling 2.37%. Across all the board, it was more or less red. Some stocks managed to go up. The week was driven by fear. And I started the podcast saying that the New York Stock Exchange, Nasdaq, Oslo Stock Exchange, and some of the exchanges flashing buy signals on the greed and fear index. And every time this signal has been flashed, it has been followed up by a buy signal, and so an upturn in the market. But what you should know is that when levels are this low, you can easily have panic. One thing for sure, volatility will increase. You will have more up and down. We saw it already last week. Actually, we've been seeing it for a few weeks now. Market can be down 2% just to end 1% in the green, or start 1% up and 2% in the green. This will continue, and even more so, I believe, during the week, more volatility before it finally will find a direction. In the very low end of these things, when we have buy signals down at 8 at Nasdaq, you can have these periods where Nasdaq will fall 3-4%. I've seen it all before, but this is the time when I personally buy. And you heard me repeating over and over again that I thought market was way too high, being at 20,000 points. Keeping only some 30% plus into the market because I have been waiting for a slight correction. I haven't seen a good opportunity. But now I am increasing my positions, and I've been doing this so over the last few weeks, actually just a little bit. But this week I will go even harder in. How far up I will go, I do not know. Maybe I will push it upwards to the 70-80% into the market, because I personally believe this is an opportunity. But don't blame me if markets continue downwards, because that may very well happen. Technically, and I love technical analysis, we saw that Nasdaq broke down from the rectangle formation, indicating a minimum fall to 18,400. Now it's well below that, actually touched down almost at 18,000. Being oversold for a few weeks now at the very low end of relative strength index indicate to me that there should be a short-term reaction up. Anyway, that's my take on it. I will increase. Will my gamble pay off? Well, you have to subscribe, and just keep following the podcast, and you will know, because I will exactly tell you how it went. And believe it or not, despite a bad week in the market last week, my portfolios went up. I was in the right stocks. Some stocks fell, of course, but they didn't fall as much as the market, while some actually managed to go up. The crypto investments have taken a toll over the last few weeks, but I've been using also the opportunity here to put more money into the market. In general, as you know, I've got out of gold after investing into gold. When gold was 1,600, I decided to sell when gold passed 2,900 due to the fact that I see a much calmer world in the future, where gold, in my opinion, should react back down to 2,400, where again we'll get in to gold. I've argued many times for these things, and I know it sounds very contradictory when we look at mainstream media and the crisis and everything they are pushing out. I believe when someone says they want peace, they will force peace in Europe. It will come at a cost like everything else, but war is a bigger cost. And slowly things will just calm down, and I got a little too early out of the weapon industry. We see Europe just went totally crazy. And just wants a arm race. They have to do, but no, they went on the very upper end. I think they will adjust that as well. But as I told you, war industry, the stocks there, they will keep paying dividends for a long time to go, because that's where the money is flowing right now. But I'm out of gold. I have a lot of money in the cash pile, and I will use the market opportunity now to see if I again can take advantage of what I believe to be a oversold situation. Anyway, news will come this week. There are not many of them, but there are some. On Wednesday there will be consumer price index numbers, where the overall agreement is that prices will drop a little bit down to 2.9% year over year, or 0.3% for the month. So nobody expects big changes in the inflation numbers. My bet, and you can hold this against me, you can comment in the YouTube sections and you can hold it against me later. I am very certain that inflation will go down, and it will go down much more rapid than people think. My argument, and my argument alone, is energy, and energy prices are going down. Oil, for instance, lost $3 last week, down at 67, and I just think it is the beginning. I will not be surprised if we, in the nearby future, will see oil all the way down at $30, $40. We will see, we will follow, but as energy goes down, inflation should, in my opinion, go down, due to energy being the high part of the production cost in more or less everything. And you probably enjoy it at the gasoline pump, I don't know, but we start to see the effects. I believe inflation will go down, interest rates will be cut. Now you read a lot back and forth, no, inflation will go sky high due to tariffs, etc. We will see who will be correct. I was correct when everyone's saying that inflation will not come. I told you inflation would come. Maybe it was just a lucky draw. We will see, because now my bet is inflation will go down. And we are in for a peaceful period with strong growth in the Western countries. Maybe a few EU countries will not be so much, and EU have to start to rethink, but I think they will also change accordingly to what is happening in other parts of the world, where we're focusing a bit on the cost and trying to get all this borrowing under control. By the way, EU will borrow money for the weapon expansion, and quite much as such. There will be some indications what consumer thinks. That will be on Friday. The expectation is that the consumer sentiment will lower a little bit from previous 64.7 down to 63.9. Small businesses will also tell what they think, and that will be tomorrow on Tuesday, expected to go down from 102.8 to 101 points. That is still being positive, but less positive. So we will see if this keep going on, but you have to remember again, everything is pushed in media, has a certain agenda. We will see. My opinion is differently. Some quarter results will come. I will just mention these very quickly as well before drawing up what I think will happen in the market and the week ahead of us. Asana and Oracle will have a quarter results today. Oracle, by the way, is expected to move plus minus 2.56% if you want to take the chance on that gamble. On Wednesday, tomorrow on Tuesday, there will be sporting goods and coals, while Wednesday will be Adobe and iRobot, and probably many is more interested in iRobot, which, by the way, is expected to swing almost 5% plus minus on the quarter results. So if you get the direction correct, should be a 5% plus minus gain for iRobot. Quite much volatility expected around the quarter results of iRobot. Jobless numbers on Thursday, but the DocuSign and Dollar General and Ultra Beauty will have their quarter results. And nothing really big on Friday. Oil, as I said, fell last week by $3 down to $67. Gold was actually going up a little bit, $38 up for the gold to $2,915. It was up at almost 3,000, and I sold gold just a little bit above these levels. So far I'm correct, but if gold creeps up, I will be wrong. But we will see. 10-year Treasury yield 431 up 1.86% last week, but still falling in the longer trend after being up at 4.8. Falling 10-year Treasury yield is good for the markets. That's exactly what we want. Money not going to bonds, but into stock market instead. Here is what I think about the week ahead of us. Nasdaq being totally oversold, bouncing up around 18,000, which should be a support level. Lot of resistance from 19,000 points and upward. My bet it will be a green week. Hopefully I will not be wrong. Should start off with a scare in the morning, since that's how we left last week. People are uncertain about direction before picking up speed. I guess a lot of volatility. I'm not sure exactly how it will move during the week. If it will be up Monday and Tuesday, down on Wednesday, up Thursday, Friday, but for sure I believe Nasdaq will be higher by the end of the week. That is my bet, and I will put quite much money on it. That leaves us to maybe the part of the podcast which some of you have been waiting for. 8 buy signals and how we are doing in the $1,000 challenge. Before I forget, remember to subscribe, remember to like. It's very important if you want the podcast to grow. Last week, let's rewind a little bit if you're a new listener. So 2 weeks ago, I started telling about 8 stocks that flash buy signals. These are picked from systems that I am developing. That's the core of the things that I do. Try to develop products and tools that will enable you, the trader, to reduce your losses, increase your gains. And I'm tweaking the system. It's a long journey like most things, and this is built on very, very new principles that I try to incorporate after doing this for many, many years. First week was a bust. Only 2 out of 8 stocks went up. Market, as you remember, went down. Nasdaq was down 2.51% for the week. Last week was also a bust. Stocks again was, I believe 3 out of 8 stocks went positive, but Nasdaq was down 3.47%. Sorry, these are not the last week, but the 2 weeks before that. What about last week? So how did it go? I give you 8 stocks. These stocks were CME Group, Pilgrim Pride, A2Z Smart Technologies, Regal Pharmaceuticals, Automatic Data Processing, Fara Technologies, Upco Health, and Li Auto. And I said these are flashing buy signals, meaning that if you buy them on Monday morning and we just follow, we don't take the highs, we just say like 1 week ahead until Friday, you buy on Monday, sell on Friday. How did it go? Just to make it easy. Normally you put on stop losses and you sell on the peak, etc. But to make it easy, I don't do this here. I just buy on Monday morning. Actually, I don't buy all of them. I buy last week I bought 2 of them. was very lucky with one and in minus with the other, but my intention is to work the system so good that I will buy them all right now. I'm just testing it live with you, and you can get all the results in real time as it happening without any filter, no washing. So what happened last week? SME Group, SME Group went up 0.26% only, so that was correct. Pilgrim Pride also went up from 54.42 to 54.62, up 0.37%. So 2First was making a green week, despite, as I said, markets falling quite hard last week. Then it was A2Z Smart Technologies, and they did not do very well, down 8.2%. Followed by Regal Pharmaceuticals, which fell even more, 12.13% down for Regal. Automatic Data Processing also fell 3.12%, and Faro Technologies continued the red streak, down 10.6%. So we started with 2 green, 4 red. Then Upco Health came in at 7.9% gain, which I, by the way, bought. And Li Auto also managed a gain, 207% gain, making it 50% of the buy signals actually went up during the week. And come again, I did not check if any of them during the week was much higher, but they probably were. But again, we just do Monday to Friday just to keep it simple so you can follow easier. The total, if I invested in all of these 8 stocks, was a loss of 2.93%. Better than Nasdaq, a little worse than Dow Jones. So if I'd gone into all the 8 stocks, I would have lost. We are still not in the green. I continue to tweak the systems to make it better. And this week, I got 8 new stocks for you. And I will just slide a bit to the right so I can see the stocks. Here are the 8 stocks flashing buy signals this week. By the way, before revealing them, you might sit with a lot of questions of what am I doing? Well, I'm building system based on indicators, on it's like momentum indicators, all of these things, putting it together with a lot of other data, trying to make predictions of what direction it will take. I use a lot of standard things, relative strength index, but my own version of relative strength index. I enhance these signals and keep working that, even creating a lot of new signals up along. And anyone that follows Stock Invest knows that I developed golden star signals back in 2007, and it's time for me to build a lot of new, hopefully good signals. Anyway, I bake this into something that generates a score, and I'm just listing stocks that have some of the highest scores. I still need to wash some of these things based on market cap and a few other things to remove some of the more trashier stocks. But you are following a developing progress live. The 8 stocks are: continue with SME Group because it's flashing buy signals also this week. Currently sitting around $254, so assume that you buy it on the open today, early today, and then keep it to Friday. We'll see how it goes. Then there is Huron Consulting Group, HURN. SME Group is, by the way, SME. And then we have Huron Consulting Group, HURN, sitting around $149. We'll see how it opens today. We have Upco Health, again, which I also had last week, was one of my bets last week, which I put in money personally, and still sitting there. They're still flashing buy signals after being up almost 8% last week. They're still flashing buy signals, so it is a signal for this week. Currently sitting around $1.9. Then there is Root Inc. ROOT. Oh, I forgot to mention that OPCO Health is OPK. OPK is the ticker. Root has the ticker ROOT. Root Inc. currently sitting around $133. Then we have Chromadex Corporation, CDXC, Chromadex Corporation. We have Palomar Holdings, PLMR. We have Royal Gold Inc., RGLD, Royal Gold Inc. And the last one is Tucos Inc., TCX, Tucos Inc. Some of these companies are a bit small in my opinion in terms of market cap, makes for huge volatility, etc. That's a thing that I will tweak into this list so we can reduce risk. We can choose the risk settings that we want, and you of course will sooner or later be able to go and check out these tools yourself. So there was 8 tickers that are flashing buy signals last week. Half of them managed to go in the green despite a bad week. I repeat the tickets before we go into $1,000 challenge. They are SME, SME Group, Huron Consulting, HURN. It is OPCO Health, OPK, and it's Root Inc., ROOT. And it's Chromadex Corporation, CDXC. Then there is Palomar Holdings, PLMR, and Royal Garden Inc., RGLD, and Tucos Inc., TCX. Some of these. Now, what you should do if you think you want to look further into these stocks is do some thoroughly checking of the stocks, because I'm just saying these are flashing buy signals. I still need to increase the quality of the things to create the ultimate tool, which always is what you want to have. 21 minutes into the podcast, we're getting to the very end, and hopefully you are still listening. You haven't dropped out. I hope you will like, I hope you will subscribe, and maybe even tell a friend. Help grow the podcast. And if you don't agree, if you don't like, it's very, very fine too. I personally just hope that somehow I'm able to help you grow your profit, reduce your losses. And that is why I keep talking about longer trends and why to invest into longer trends. Now I'll use the short term, what I consider to be a super duper short term opportunity to invest. But then I will reduce, again, I will go a little harder increase my exposure in the markets, try to use what I consider to be a nice swing. And then I will follow into more longer trends again. By the way, I'm moving over to higher risk. I believe there is upside in high risk. And as you know, I'm very well positioned into EV because I think that is the future. I think they are totally undervalued. Enough about me, enough about long-term trends. Here is the $1,000 challenge. Sitting in NEO, stuck in NEO. NEO fell a little bit last week, not by much, but down to $4.47. Was bought at $5.10, making the $1,000 currently sitting stuck just about $2,500 at $2,556.76. That is how much I've been able to grow $1,000 over this period. I feel a bit ashamed because we should have been much higher. Either I am out of shape, either the market is out of shape, but we have to get back, and something is telling me that staying in NEO is the right choice to do. I will still stay in NEO for the $1,000 challenge as we move forward. That was everything for this week. I hear they start drilling in the building, so better just end the podcast. Whatever else is, I hope you have had a beautiful week last week, and I hope this week will be even better. More than anything, I hope that by the end of the week your portfolio will be much greener than in the beginning of the week. And if you get back next week, I will be here. Until then, just have a super week. Bye.
Welcome to StockInvest.US Stock Analysis. We remind you that trading involves a high risk of losing money, and that you should speak with a financial advisor before buying or selling any securities. You should not base your investment decision upon stockinvest.us. By using the information you agree and are held liable for your own investment decisions.